Well, a very good evening and welcome to this special broadcast right here on CNBC TV18. Now, Paris headquarter Teleperformance has market capitalization of around $20 billion and employs over 4 lakh people. Now, globally, this is the world's largest BPO that is planning to hire as many as 20,000 people in India alone over the next 18 months under an ambitious expansion plan. In fact, the company is now under new leadership in India. Anish Mukkar has taken over the reins as the new CEO in the country. Mr. Mukkar joins us on this special broadcast to give us his outlook on India, post-pandemic hiring, as well as global headwinds. Thank you, Mr. Mukkar. Thank you so much for joining us. First question to you. How would you look at India? We're given to understand India is the engine behind Teleperformance. Tell us more about what role that India plays. What are the revenues attributable to it? What is the total manpower that is in fact hired here locally in the country? Just a sense of why India is deemed as the engine for Teleperformance.
Yeah, thank you, Ashmit, for having me here for the first. India, as you're saying, is a strategic part and a choice that Teleperformance made about 20 years ago when the industry was in nascent stage. We are now almost short of about 1/5 of the global workforce, and we are present in almost 80 countries to the world. And 1/5 of that is in India. And that base is growing the fastest across any of the regions. So we are, as you rightly said at the start, we're looking to add about 20 to 25,000 people in the next 18 months. And that is more than double the growth the other regions are seeing. So it's a fairly strategic market, which is also growing the fastest. I would not be able to tell about the revenue numbers, but I can tell you this, that amongst all the regions that Teleperformance has, India is the fastest growing. India also is the largest. And in the next 2 years, our presence will become from 1/5 to almost a quarter. So huge potential for Teleperformance coming from India.
Interesting cues that you're giving us. 1/4 of the workforce is what you're expecting India to translate into. But let's dive deeper on that question. What can you tell us about the hiring targets over the next 18 to 24 months? And are you looking at certain composition of demographics of regions for this fresh recruitment drive that you'll be undertaking here in India?
So there are a few vectors on our expansion plans over the next about 18 months. The number roughly stands at about 25,000, given how the economic outlook globally is. A part of that will also come from servicing our India clients, not just the international clients. We are actually strongly pivoting on both of those. Our business in India is big in financial services, retail, consumer industry, travel, healthcare, and also over the last 4 years, our focus on startups has started to increase. A smaller portion of our work also is with the government clients in public sector, and that all will continue to grow. The fastest growth, however, is coming from our digital native companies and our core industry sectors. So that trend is not going to change, is only going to accelerate. To the point on where are we going to hire, we are present in about 20 cities already. Most of the tier 1 and tier 2, we are already there. My endeavor and company's endeavor for the next about 18 months is we add further staff in tier 2 and experiment with a few tier 3 countries as well, tier 3 cities as well. We may not build infrastructure in tier 3 to start with, and it's a conscious choice again we are making to enable our employees to work from anywhere or work at home, as we call it. The composition will be almost 25,000 people coming out from colleges. So it'll be people who are joining Teleperformance as their first job or perhaps as the second job. But almost 7 to 8% additional headcount will come at senior levels. That could be in domain, that could be in training, that could be in functions like finance or HR. So it's a tremendous growth opportunity, not just for existing employees of Teleperformance, but also new opportunities for new people entering into the labor pool.
Interesting. I'll just take a cue from one of the words that you had used, which is the hybrid work model. We're seeing that increasingly post-pandemic. What can you tell us about working from home? Are you encouraging it amongst your employees? Is that what will be perhaps a subset of this recruitment drive that you will be undertaking? What has the response been, and what, if any, has there been any impact in terms of participation of women and the LGBTQ community courtesy work from home?
Hugely. We are seeing huge uptake of people's readiness to work from locations of their choice. A number of cases from their towns and villages that they come from. Almost 40% of our entire headcount as of today is working from home, which actually has been a decline since January because number of clients and as the COVID situation is receding in the world, a lot of clients are asking us to come back to offices because that's the model they are comfortable with. But we believe as an organization, it's our responsibility to educate the clients that they will get best access to the talent with very high retention rates. And our experiences, our services that we offer are of far higher quality if we give the flexibility to the employees. So we are strongly pivoting on taking the jobs where the people are and not vice versa. It also, enables the socio-economic agenda that we have to bring, let's say, more choices to the people who are in tier three cities rather than just the tier one cities.
Sure.
And one of the things, Ashmi, to your point, we are doing is it also gives us greater access to diverse talent. About 41% of our entire employee base is women, and we believe that is 9% lesser than it should be. And we have seen that if you make working at home as an option, you are able to bring more women into employment, and also people with different ability who may not find commuting
Sure.
to office or working in the office as easy as working from home because they get better care at home. So we are also taking some lofty goals to bring differently able people into our workforce. And LGBTIQ plus is a big program for TP Global. We are participating in terms of awareness because as an organization in India, we are also taking baby steps to educate our current
Sure.
employee base to encourage people to of all backgrounds and all choices to work and be successful in at TP. So that's a constant endeavor. We haven't taken a goal, but it's an
Sure.
effort that we are making to start with.
Sure. We're running out of time, so I'll ask you this one final question here. You're announcing this recruitment drive, 25,000 over the next 18 to 24 months. It's a big figure there, and you're doing it at a time when we're looking at a situation where of high inflation, high interest, and low growth. Now, in fact, Noureel Roubini, one of the renowned economists, said that we're looking forward at a very protracted, severe recession. Yet you're announcing this big recruitment drive here. Just want to get your sense on the outlook as far as macros are concerned and the impact, if any, on your demand.
That's an interesting perspective. See, I don't disagree with the macro view that's coming up, and a lot of that will unfold in the future. But the work that we provide in our industry to a large extent is recession proof. In fact, if at all, we are slightly negatively correlated with the headwinds the rest of the world will face because if there are cost pressures, if there are lack of growth pressures, then people look at India, people look at us to solve some of the problems they cannot solve themselves. So we always get a boost of work coming our way, and if you're able to do a good job, then it reflects into our growth. However, having said that, if there are volume reductions, if the consumer industry starts to slow down, it does create a headwind for us. But it's always been the net positive as we look back over the last 20 years of our experience in India. Any headwind on recessionary pressure always creates additional demand, which comes adjacent to what we are doing. So I'm sure it will like quite balance out. We are pretty optimistic and bullish about what the industry can do for the world, what TP can do for all the major economies, and we stay committed to India growth from that standpoint.
Sure. Right, Mr. Muker, thank you so much for joining us. You've taken on a new challenge with Teleperformance. We wish you the very best. But it's interesting insights that you've shared on the way forward. A big recruitment drive, and that you negatively related to this recessionary trends that we're beginning to see. Thank you so much for joining us. But that's all the time that we have for. It's a wrap on this special edition. Thank you so much for watching News and Updates. We'll continue right here on CNBC TV 18.